The Houston Rockets are finally starting to figure things out, and they are quickly heating up to begin this 2025-2026 season. They started off with a few losses. That epic season opener against the Thunder. They almost beat the defending champs, losing 125-124. Then they dropped another game to the Pistons. Close one. It was a 4-point loss to Detroit. But then the Rockets, they have strung together 4 consecutive wins. Yes, they beat the Nets back on October 27th, followed by my Raptors on October 29th. Both convincing victories. Another convincing win against the Celtics on November 1st. And recently, they knocked off the Dallas Mavericks 110-102. But in this win over the Mavericks, the Rockets did something that really impressed me. They showed that they have so much depth, right? And they were able to win this game despite Kevin Durant not shooting the ball well from the field. And there are a lot of guys on this Rockets team who can have a big impact, right? In this one, it was Amen Thompson who had a huge game. Sengun continues to be solid. And in this one, Jabari Smith Jr., he was out. And the Rockets, they were still able to get it done. We're going to talk about the Rockets, guys, and what has impressed me the most about this team to this point. Do me a solid, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button for more Rockets and NBA content just like this. So Kevin Durant, he was struggling. He couldn't buy a basket in this one. Jabari Smith, like I said, he was in street clothes. But the Rockets, they leaned on their depth. Durant, he was, of course, brought into this Rockets organization to be the closer of the team. But in the game against the Mavericks, he shot just 6 for 18 from the floor, including just 2 for 8 from downtown. But the Rockets, they have a balanced roster. And late in this game, it was Alfred Sengun who delivered the clutch basket on the offensive end. And Amen Thompson, he came up with a big stop on the defensive end. And Thompson was huge. He led Houston with a season-high 27 points. So on a night where Durant was definitely far from his best and he wasn't able to get his offense going and he made the fewest shots of any game this season, it was Houston's young core that was able to get the job done and really shine in this one. As the Rockets, they have nice balance, right? You look at this team right now, they have 5 players who are averaging in double figures. Durant leads all Rocket scorers with 25.2, Sengun's at 21.7, Thompson's at 16.2, Jabari Smith Jr. at 15, Tari Eason at 10.8, but then you got a few other guys who are hovering around that double-digit mark. Reed Shepard's at 9.2, Okogie is at 8.3, and yeah, like these guys legitimately have 7 players who can get into double figures. And with Smith's sideline due to a sprained ankle, it was Tari Eason who stepped up, and he scored 15 in that win over the Mavs on 6 for 9 shooting. Very efficient game while making his first start of the year. And he's a career 35% three-point shooter. He's hit 56% of his threes this season. So Tari Eason's been hitting his triple, which makes him that much more impactful. And then Reed Shepard, he did have a rough night on both ends as he continues to go through the growing pains. Of course, he's in an increased role this season with Van Vliet sidelined for likely the entire season. He was replaced by Aaron Holiday in the second half, who did deliver on a key and one late in the third to give the Rockets their biggest lead of the night. And then you look at Steven Adams, he posted a +6, Clint Capella was a +5 in limited time from off the bench. But the Rockets right now, guys, they're getting contributions from just about everyone, and they're really making it hard for the opposing team to key in on one player. It's like you think you got the Rockets figured out. Okay, we're just going to zone in on Durant. He's going to have a poor shooting game. We're going to win. But that's not the case. The Rockets got so many guys that can step up and beat you, and that's what makes a championship team. We see some of the best teams, OKC, they have so many guys, right? They're a deep team. It's not just one guy. Denver. So the Rockets have proven that so far this season. Their depth has been phenomenal, and I think that's their strength. And I know it was a huge loss for, Van Vliet going down right before the start of the season. I think he would have made the Rockets even more deadly, but they're navigating without Van Vliet, and so far they're getting the job done. Of course, other guys have had to step up. They're going to need more from Reed Shepard if they're going to make this work, or else the Rockets might have to make a trade around the deadline to bring in a veteran point guard as they push for a championship run. But so far they are making it work. guys are stepping up, and the Rockets, they have really gelled nicely. And after those first 2 losses of their season, which again could have easily been wins, right now we could be talking about the 6-0 Houston Rockets. They have really just locked in, zoned in, and they have put together 4 straight nice wins. 3 convincing. This one was an 8-point win, and this was a nice one. Again, with Durant not shooting the ball well from the field. And of course, the Mavericks, they're not the toughest competition. You know, Davis was out, Kyrie, Cooper Flag has had his struggles as well to begin his NBA career. But it was impressive in the sense that this was Durant's season worst performance. And Sengun too, you know, he only shot 5 for 13 in the first half. So Houston, they did find a way to win. And that's what great teams do. They find a way to close it out anyway. They find a way to win a game that their star players are struggling from the field. And that's what makes this group special. They're finding different ways to win. And I think this was the most impressive win of the Rockets' 4-game winning streak. A game that they probably would have lost a season ago. And this is the perfect example why they bring in a guy like Durant to help him in a game like this. But what's impressive is Durant, again, he struggled from the field and they were still able to win this game. So beyond Durant, it's other guys who have gotten better, and it's just the depth that has really been stellar so far for the Rockets, and something that they are going to lean on throughout the course of the season going into the playoffs. So it's just 6 games into the season, but the Rockets, they have found different ways to win, even without their superstar Kevin Durant. So you got to think, Kevin Durant's more times than not going to have stellar games, especially in the playoffs, which is why this team brought Durant in. So if other guys are making up for it and you know, bailing out Durant when he doesn't have a good game and this Rockets team still winning, how do you think this team's going to look when Durant is playing at the peak of his powers? It's going to be a tough team to beat. And they proved that, right? Night 1 of the season, they proved that. They literally went toe-to-toe with the game's best. A team that has not lost to this point. That could have been their first loss. And that just showed you how good this Rockets team can truly be. And I think they're only going to get better as the season progresses. And, you know, we've seen that. Getting out to those 2 losses, but then quickly turning around 4 wins in a row. So Houston, they are making up right now for having, you know, VanVleet on the sidelines. Hopefully Jabari Smith Jr. can come back and there's no other major injury. But the Rockets, they are getting the job done. They are heating up. And I really love what this team has been able to do. And I think the Rockets are going to be one of the top teams in the West. So we'll see how they go from here, and we'll see how many more wins they can stack up after getting their latest 4th win in a row over the Dallas Mavericks. Let me know your thoughts, your biggest takeaways when it comes to this Rockets team thus far, guys. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. That's it from me, Luke, signing off. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you all again in the next one.